And here's what I'm sick and tired of. All these randoms and casuals on Twitter and everywhere you look going, oh, well, Washington, they shouldn't even have been in the game. Washington's a fluke of a team. They got lucky to be there. No, shut up. You don't know ball. Look, I don't claim to know everything, and I've got a lot to learn, but here's what I do know. Football and basketball are all about matchups. A team like Washington will never, and mark this down, they will never win a national championship. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but the season's over. I was about to say it's a bittersweet feeling, but the more I think about it, there's nothing sweet about it whatsoever. It's just bitter. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy college basketball, some NFL here and there, the playoffs, that's going to be awesome, but nothing can come close to comparing to college football. That's what I love the most. And I know it's cliche and everybody brings it up, but I swear, man, it's true. This season always flies by. I don't know what it is. It seems like it takes forever to get here. The off season, it's long, it's boring. There's no news going on unless you try to create some drama. And then when August finally arrives, it feels like you watch 1 or 2 games, you blink, and now it's January 9th. The season goes by way too fast, but I think we're all in the same boat here. And good news, though, fortunately, when we have this new 12-team playoff, I think the season will be going through, like, what is it, January 20th, something like that? So at least in the future, it's going to extend a little bit longer, but for now, at least, this year, it's over. Heck of a year, man, heck of a year, and I'll speak more about this later in the week, but I just want to give a major and big-time shout-out to all the subscribers, everybody part of our community, the old subscribers, the new subscribers, everybody that's been watching this year. I greatly appreciate you guys, and you've made it yet again another amazing college football season. Nothing is better to me in this life, in this world, than not just the college football games and season, but what I like the most is interacting with you guys and seeing what y'all are saying on Twitter and reading all the comments throughout the season. You can't beat it because, yes, we're all one big community, but we got a bunch of diversity in the community. We got fans of all types of teams, and it's really interesting to see what somebody says after, oh, this team loses and that team loses and so on. You know how it goes. And like I said, I'll speak more on that later throughout the week, so stay tuned for that. We'll have a proper send-off, trust me. But for now, at least, we got to talk about this national championship, and I have a lot to say, so strap in, buckle up, get you a snack, get you a popcorn, get you your favorite meal you like to when you watch a video, because it's going to be a good one. First things first, let me throw this in there to give you some context and perspective. When the game wrapped up last night, of course, did my reaction video. I'm sure some of you may have or may not have seen that. Well, after the live reaction video, I watched some film, went to bed, woke up early this morning, and I watched the rest of the game. And when I say rewatch the game, let me clarify on that. This morning, I rewatched the entire game for the second time. And I don't want to say I waste my time watching the game for a second time, but here's what I will tell you. How I felt immediately after the game in the reaction video, you guys saw that last night, is how I still currently feel right now as when I'm speaking and making this video. Essentially meaning, my opinion on this game hasn't changed to the slightest of bits. Even after rewatching it, even after knowing what to look for, there's nothing new. And that is very odd because if you've been keeping up with the channel this season, you know I like to do a lot of film breakdowns. For example, in the Alabama-Michigan game, there was a ton of stuff I picked up on rewatching it that I didn't see the first time. Same thing in the Texas-Washington game, but in this game, no, there's none of it. And maybe it's just due to the fact, and we'll get to this in just a second, Michigan just simply outplayed them, and it wasn't even close. It wasn't even a ball game. I know Washington kept it close, but that was just due to Michigan not putting their foot on the gas. Although late into the third quarter, it was 20-13, it never felt that close to me. No way. The final score was a better representation of how I felt the game was going, at least in my humble opinion. From kickoff to the end, never for a split second did I feel or tell myself, well, dang, I think Washington might be able to pull this off. I never felt that. And I tweeted this out after the first touchdown, and everybody in the comment section, and I'm calling you out, everybody was like, oh, Matt, you're jumping the gun. I was like, no, I ain't jumping the gun. I said after that first touchdown, the game's over. The real national championship was last week between Michigan and Alabama. And I firmly believed that when I tweeted it out, and guess what? I was right, and it was true. I need to calm down, though. I need to calm down. Matt. Calm down, buddy. Calm down. Sorry. We'll get to that shortly. Trust me. We'll get to it. I do want to address this because all throughout the game, even after the game, and even the following morning, you got all these Georgia fans and everybody else tweeting this out. Georgia, they would have destroyed this Washington team, and which I somewhat agree with. I think Georgia probably would have beat Washington in the same way that Michigan beat Washington. But here's the problem with that, Georgia fans, and you know I love you guys, but you didn't even beat Alabama, so just calm down. That is the equivalent to me getting up here on Twitter talking about, oh my gosh, Washington sucks, man. If Alabama was playing Washington, we would have beat them by 30 and we would have won another national championship. You sound dumb and you sound like a sore loser. As an Alabama fan myself, do I feel like we would have beat Washington? Of course. But I'm not going to sit up here and continue to tweet about it because the bottom line is, we didn't even beat Michigan, so there's no need to even have the conversation. So let's just put an end to that there. Now, as far as it goes for a game itself, the one thing I will say, and some people were bringing up on Twitter, is all the holding calls that Michigan got away with, and I saw them. There was about 3 to 4 clear holds that Michigan was doing against Washington that never got called. And of course, people are crying about it on Twitter, but here's my thing. Even if they call these holds, Michigan still wins the game. Let's not act like this was some one-score ball game. No. Those holds were not the difference in this game. Did want to address that because when I was rewatching it, I was like, yeah, I need to talk about that because you're going to have some people that are furious about that and whatnot. Now, let me also address this. And by the way, if you didn't watch my preview video, I did predict Michigan to win this game, and I nailed it on the head. That was one of my better predictions this season. But to me, it was a fairly easy prediction. And it's why I can't get up here and talk about this game too much because it feels like I've already spoken about it before it even happened. What did I tell you guys in the preview? Washington matches up terribly against Michigan, and therefore, they are going to lose. You know what? Why don't I just throw it in the video? I'm going to try to find the clip. Matt, find a clip. This game against Michigan is a very bad matchup for Washington. Football is all about matchups, and Michigan... All right, so there it is. I showed you the video clip, and I'm going to harp on that a little bit more. Look, I don't claim to know everything, and I've got a lot to learn, but here's what I do know. Football and basketball are all about matchups. And the reason I know this is because it's dating back to when I was playing sports. I know this because, well, I lived it. And I'll use basketball for an example because that was my favorite sport growing up. And normally throughout the basketball season in your area, you play every team twice. And there was teams all throughout my basketball career that we were not better than, but for some odd reason, we always beat them and we had their number. Vice versa, there was a couple teams that I thought for sure we were better than, and we could never beat them. Why is that, though? For one reason, matchups. It's the same thing in football, and I will continue to bring this up because it's the greatest example I can give you. Look at Georgia. Georgia has steamrolled everybody the past 3 years except for Alabama. Why is that? Because they match up terribly against Alabama. They play right into Alabama's hands. They're carbon copy paste. They want to run the ball and do play action, and that is not a recipe of success to beat Alabama. Very rarely, if ever, are you going to beat Alabama playing their same style of football. Granted, Michigan did it, and that just goes to prove how good Michigan actually was. I say all that to say this, though. In this national championship game, the main reason I picked Michigan to win, and I wasn't too concerned with the game whatsoever, is because Washington matched up terribly against them. I knew Washington couldn't stop the run, and I knew on the other side of the ball, they couldn't run the ball against Michigan. And if you can't run, and if you can't stop the run, your chances of winning not just the championship, but any game are slim to none. And unfortunately for Washington, Michigan is one of the best running teams in the nation, and they're also one of the best teams at stopping the run. I'm not saying that Washington couldn't have won this game, but here's what I am saying. You almost had to be slightly delusional to even pick them in this game. There was no signs pointing towards that Washington had the upper hand in this game whatsoever. And I stated this before the game, and it came true. Here's the difference. For Michigan to win, what does J.J. McCarthy have to do? Nothing. Just manage the game, complete 5 to 6, 7 great passes, and they'll win. He doesn't even have to do anything crazy. On the flip side, the only way, I'm talking about the only way Washington would have had a chance in this game is if Michael Penix Jr. has a game of his life yet again and has 15 to 20 miraculous throws. And that's just for Washington to have a chance in the game. And I know what some of you may be sitting there saying, well, Matt, come on, man. Hindsight's 20/20. And okay, if you want to use that excuse, it's fine. I said the same thing 3 days ago or 2 days ago whenever I did the preview. And here's what I'm sick and tired of. All these randoms and casuals on Twitter and everywhere you look going, oh, well, Washington, they shouldn't even have been in the game. Washington's a fluke of a team. They got lucky to be there. No, shut up. You don't know ball. You know what it really was? It's more so of, and how about you start talking about this, Michigan was really that good this year. And it goes back to this. Washington, unfortunately, just matched up terribly against Michigan. It's just terrible logic for you to sit up here and say, well, oh, Washington shouldn't have been there. Do you remember they beat one of the best teams in the country, Texas, only about a week ago? And the score was deceiving because if Washington didn't have all those blunders at the end, it wouldn't have been that close. And I get why everybody's saying it because everybody's like, oh my gosh, another year, another blowout. Trust me, I hate it just as much as you. And me personally, I wasn't even too upset that it wasn't that close of a game because I was telling myself when the rankings came out, the winner of the Alabama-Michigan game is going to win the championship. So theoretically speaking, the Alabama-Michigan game is the championship. That's how I viewed it, and it didn't matter who won the Washington-Texas game. I just thought, and I knew, the winner of the Alabama-Michigan game will be the champion. I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know what it is, but the whole focal point of this video is matchups. If you don't match up good with a team, it's over. It's over before you even walk onto the field. I'll put it to you like this. A team like Washington will never, and mark this down, they will never win a national championship. You can't be that bad at stopping the run and not be able to run yourself and even think you're going to win a championship. Won't happen. And for that reason alone, that's why your national champions will always be teams like Michigan, who are great on defense and they're good at running the ball. And everybody gets so infatuated with 2019 LSU and 2020 Alabama, how they were just throwing the ball over the field. Well, you remember that 2020 Alabama had Najee Harris. He finished top 5, or what was it, top 5, top 6 in the Heisman voting. Oh, no. I think he finished 4th and Mac Jones was number 6. And then 2019 LSU, what was that running back? What's his name? Yeah, played for Kansas City. Clyde Edwards-Helaire Jr., something like that. Dude, LSU had a great running game when Joe Burrow was there. Granted, 2019 LSU and 2020 Alabama have completely different play styles on offense compared to 2023 Michigan, but you get my point. All in all, though, yeah, it wasn't a great game, but let's not act like Washington didn't earn their way there. Yet again, I said this a lot last night, but I'm going to say it again. Congratulations to Michigan, and I'm happy for y'all. Heck of a year, and I know you guys are happy, and I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts on us down below, but Roman.